Learning Japanese in 3 months. Day number 11. Welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about listening comprehension. And I'm going to explain to you what my plan is. I'm going to give you some advice if you want to improve your listening comprehension in Japanese or whatever language you're trying to learn. But first, a quick update. There's not much to talk about really. From about what I've been doing, it's basically the same thing as yesterday. I explained in detail what I was going to do this week. So I continued memorizing vocabulary from the 2000 verb list, 2000 example sentences, around a thousand, not a thousand, 100. I wish I could do 1,000, but I don't have the time. I try to do at least 100 words with mnemonic associations, just so that I don't lose the habit of creating them. If I have the time, I do more, but I'm doing slightly over 100 every day because I'm busy. So yeah, 100 ish, 105, 110 was memorized from that list, and then 1,000 plus repetitions of shadowing. So basically, play the audio, and with the text in front of me and the translation, just uh, speak alongside it. So each sentence 5 times, so 200-ish sentences, 5 times each with those sentences. The sentences containing the verbs I'm trying to memorize. I've also started reviewing those exact same sentences using flashcards. I downloaded them and I'm doing retrieval practice. So I get them in English and I try to say them in Japanese, and then I get the feedback. And I'm making lots of mistakes, but because I'm getting immediate feedback, I'm learning from the mistakes. Yeah, so I'll keep doing that. I'm also learning more language islands. Those are my own sentences for conversation. Those are the high percentage sentences. Those are the things that I want to be able to say really well as soon as possible. So a lot more listening and repeating or shadowing with those. And then the 2000 verbs are for comprehension because you need to understand everything that you hear, not just the stuff that you want to learn to say. Um, the stuff that you want to be able to say really well is a very small percentage of the whole language. But you need to maybe not know everything, but know most of the common stuff, or and even the uncommon stuff. You should be able to recognize it. Otherwise, most of the time there'll be a few words in whatever you. In anything really. And if you're talking face to face to someone and there's a lot of vocabulary that you don't know, you won't understand it. And if you're watching something or you're listening to something, you won't understand much either, right? So continuing to memorize more and more vocabulary, extremely important. And now we're going to start testing how much we actually understand. And my guess is that very little for now, but that's what we're here for. We're going to work on a listening comprehension. So we're going to start listening to podcasts. And this is one that I found, Easy Japanese, podcast for beginners. I'm not a big fan of this kind of stuff, but I don't really know much about Japanese culture. Um, so I don't really know what to look for. And if I tried searching for stuff that I'd be interested in, but I couldn't really find anything interesting because I was searching using keywords that were translated. So maybe they don't use those keywords for that type of content, or maybe that type of content doesn't even exist. But anyway, I'm going to start using this. And if you're watching this and you learn in Japanese or you are fluent in Japanese, please give me a list. It'd be very helpful if in the comments you could tell me a list of podcasts that I could listen to that were interesting, either about Japan, about Japanese history, about cultural stuff in Japan, Japanese culture, Japanese anything Japan related. It's much more interesting than podcasts for beginners or learning podcasts. Right? It's also more difficult, but it doesn't matter. because you're going to have to learn all that vocab anyway. So the goal here, I mean, the plan here is the goal is to understand, right? And the plan is this. So we're going to take the transcript here. You go down there and you trans. Yeah, you click there, show transcript, and you get a transcript. And what you do is just come here and you copy the whole thing. And yeah, you copy it, and then you go to ChatGPT and you Romanize it. You because you can't read that obviously. So I'm not going to do it now because I'm so bad at computers. I can only show this window. So I can't. I need to learn how to do that properly. I tried earlier and I had to delete the video because I wasn't able to, and I was just messing around here. So what I'm going to do is, and I'll give you the whole plan step by step, so you can do it too. Um, you copy this, paste it in ChatGPT. You Romanize it so it's written phonetically. Yeah, so rewrite this phonetically should be the prompt, and you get the whole thing written in a way that you can understand. And then you can recognize the vocab, some of the vocab, probably not much of the vocab if you're at my level, but although it's increasing. And then you'll take that and go to um, vocabulary frequency calculator, and you paste it there, and it will give you a list, nice list of all the words in the text, from most common to least common words, and highest frequency words to lowest frequency words with a number next to them of how many times that word shows up. And you start associating those words from top to bottom. From top because those will be, if there are words that you recognize, they're probably on top because those are the most common words. But that list will give you an idea also why just learn the 100 most common words, bro. Why that doesn't the Mark Manson hack the language is and the self-help guru stuff doesn't work because well, you see very clearly. You learn the most common words and you understand whatever 50%, 80% of the words in the text. Yeah, but those words keep showing up over and over and over. But there'll be loads of words that are also there that you don't know. And if you don't know those, you won't understand anything, or you won't understand much because those words, the less frequent words in the text, in the transcript or in the audio or in anything, are the ones that actually give it meaning. Because if you here I'm going to blank you in the blank, what is it? I'm going to meet you in the park. It could be something much worse, right? um, so yeah, those words that are less frequent, you need to know them, otherwise you won't understand. That's why it's really important to memorize long vocabulary lists with mnemonic associations. Otherwise, it's going to take forever for you to be able to understand enough. Because if you see those words in context and you look them up, I mean, there are different studies and each person is different. I had a guy, was a genius. Not the, I mean, okay. He could look up words when learning Spanish, and after looking them up once, he'd remember them. So I gave him a bilingual assimil book, and he read the whole thing, and he learned the whole thing just by reading it once. And he could remember and he wasn't using obviously he didn't need mnemonics because he just had this insane memory of, oh yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah, that means this and what. But for most people, um, you need to look up words 10 times or more, the same word. And if that word's not very common, you're going to have to look it up now and then in a couple of weeks and then in a couple of months again. And maybe if you just try to learn by input and then look up words that you don't know, you'll be looking up the same words over and over. Or like maybe there'll be like 2 or 3 thousand words that you look up again and again, but each one every several months because they're not common. So you keep not knowing them and looking them up, but at the same time, you don't look them up often enough because the next time you look them up is 3 months from now and you just forgot about it. That's the problem with learning with input. Memorizing loads of vocab with associations will fix that, right? So what we're going to do is this: take the list, frequency list of vocabulary, and before listening to anything, we just look up the list and all the words that we don't know will. And tomorrow I'll do this with like in front of you with another transcript. But yeah, that's the idea. You memorize the vocabulary, all the unknown words from, or a lot of the unknown words from the transcript, and now you can listen to it, and you can maybe understand way more, probably understand way more, and then you keep doing that. So I'm going to start doing this, maybe 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day of, actually probably more because once I memorize the vocab of a few transcripts, I'll just have this thing on while I do something else in the background and just listen to it. Because um, using the mass sentences for the mass sentences with the verbs for listening as well, it's more time efficient to learn vocab. It's reviewing vocab that I've been memorizing, and it's more time efficient. But I also need to listen to actual conversation, not just an AI voice repeating sentences. Yeah, you need an AI voice repeating sentences to learn as much vocabulary and as much grammar, as many sentences, as many words as fast as possible. But then I need to expose myself to native speaker conversation to transition so that my brain learns to recognize all those words and all the grammar in actual conversation instead of just a machine voice, because it's not the same thing, right? um, it's very different. Even if the words are the same, the sentences are the same, or maybe they're not the same. It's maybe maybe AI created the sentences in a way that native speakers don't say them. That's also the truth. But it's just conversation tends to be different from yeah, a list of sentences. So you need to do once you know enough vocab, and I don't know enough vocab yet, but you have to start slowly introducing more and more audio, native speaker conversation. And again, I'll do a little bit now, and then next week I'll do probably double the time I'm doing now. And then by the end of the 3 month period, I'll be exclusively listening to native speaker podcasts, podcasts by native speakers for native speakers. And the more I memorize from the vocabulary list, the easier that will get. But for now, it'll be a combination. I'll be 80% mass sentences and 20%, not even that, maybe like 90% mass sentences, 10% this. But we have to start introducing this, right? Anyway, let's check out. I want to find out how much I actually understand from this. Let's subtitles, auto translate. Should we go for? Let's go Basque. No, Japanese into Basque is probably terrible because it will translate Japanese into English and then English into Basque. So let's not do that. Also, you wouldn't understand anyway. So, all right, let's see how much we understand.
皆さんこんにちは。Easy Japanese へようこそ。この番組では 毎日の出来事や旬なトピックを少しだけゆっくり簡単な日本語でお送りします。もっと自然な会話を覚えたい、でも映画やテレビでは難しすぎるという方に、台本なし編集なしのより自然な日本語をお届けします。ポッドキャスト、YouTube にチャンネルがありますので、お好きな方でお楽しみください。では今日もよろしくお願いします。はい、ということで始まりました Easy Japanese 記念すべき第1回目の収録になります。今日は2021年1月26日火曜日ですね。
Yeah,
今日は結構
I get a few words here and there, but not much. If I wasn't reading the subtitles, I wouldn't understand anything. Just the odd word here and there that I understand. Maybe 1 out of 10. So the plan is going to be taking one of these videos from this channel, and again, if you've got good podcasts about, native speaker level podcasts, just let me know in the comments. Especially history and anything cultural, Japan related, even food, things like that, travel in Japan, yeah, anything like that. It's, anything that helps me learn about Japan, because I like to learn about the countries themselves as well, not only the language. Yeah, just let me know if you know podcasts like that in Japanese. Again, not for learners, just native speaker podcast. But anyway, for now, plan is going to be take one of these, memorize a bunch of vocab from the transcript, and then listen to it. And tomorrow I'll memorize the vocabulary of another one, and I listen to that one. And I keep doing this with one of them a day. For now, I just add them to everything else I'm listening to. My language islands and the 2000 sentences with all the verbs. And soon the mass list of the 2000 verbs with all the conjugations each, which I'm slowly developing. That list is going to be really good to learn all the grammar. I, just creating it has been really helpful. So I guess in a couple of weeks it'll be pretty. Maybe at the end of this week already. Once it's got around 1,000 sentences there, and I'm having to do it manually, but um, once it's got around 1,000 sentences, it'll be already good enough. I'll keep adding stuff, but that list is going to be really good to learn all the conjugations and all the forms and all the endings and the polite form, this and that. And so, if you want to learn all of that, I recommend start using that list. Although I recommend you learn the verb list, at least the first few hundred verbs first, because yeah, it's going to make using the conjugation list much easier. Because if you know the verb, you've memorized the verb that we are going to see conjugated for 20, 30 sentences. Yeah, it's going to be much easier to remember the whole list. But anyway, that's it for today. If you've got any questions, let me know. I'll keep adding all this stuff to the folder, all the new materials I'm creating. Let me know if you want me to include the vocabulary lists, frequency lists for these episodes as well. I could do that as well, so then you can memorize the vocab from these episodes with mnemonic associations, and then yeah, as long as you've learned how to. Again, if you still don't know how to create mnemonic associations, go watch my tutorials. It's a game changer, so go do it, right? But yeah, hopefully at the end of this week I'll make a longer video speaking Japanese. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Going back to learning now.